Hello everyone, how are you? It is Holly Renee with Home for the Healer. Today we are doing a guided general message for the collective, and I wanted to quickly do this disclaimer because this was actually a message that I recorded for a friend of mine. Her name is Zoe, and so you will hear me refer to her a few times. And yes, she gave me consent after finishing this reading. She was like, oh my gosh, I want this to go on YouTube. I'd be honored, and I agreed 1000%. So I'm incredibly excited to give you this reading. I hope you enjoy. Comment down below and let me know if you enjoyed this. Feel free to share this with whoever you feel it could help at this time, and I'll see you soon. Hello, how are you? I hope that you're doing so well. Today we're doing half of your reading, or we're just gonna kind of go. If I go a little over, then that's okay. I'll just do the rest of it in the second part. Obviously, this is a little later than I wanted it to be because of the craziness that happened, and then life just got so insane. And but we are always tapped into divine timing, right? Even though we may want something different, the divine knows what we need when we need it, and so here we are. I'm just gonna kind of go with whatever wants to come through, but I do want to start off the reading with a nice little prayer to begin. So I'm gonna do that first and foremost, but I know that this reading we're going to be doing kind of just like whatever wants to come through for you specifically, and see what the divine has to say. And um, yeah, I'm going to say a quick prayer and then I'm going to jump into this here as well. Um, and really allow like the messages to just flow in the direction that they want to flow. So let me hang on, let me grab something. I'm going to pause really fast. Okay. So let's get into this here. I'm going to make sure my camera wasn't frozen because sometimes it does that. All right, so let's quickly tap in together, say a quick prayer, set a nice intention, and just let things begin to flow. I'm so excited to do this reading with you here. I'm gonna light some Palo Santo too. I've already done a quick like setting intention, of course, with myself, but I do really like to incorporate these prayers in with these readings also because it just brings in a level of clarity and understanding and just setting the intention for both of us through this process. So first and foremost, I want to open up this space to the divine, to our highest selves, to bring us the messages that Zoe needs at this time, during this time. Whatever comes through serves the highest good of self, of the highest good of everyone involved that these messages will pertain to. I pray for clarity for Zoe whenever I'm speaking something that doesn't have as much context. I ask that she will get some type of download or confirmation through a chill or an aha moment, filled with experiences that will level up her state of consciousness and understanding with confirmation and quality of messages and connection, and make them clear and concise. I also ask that during this reading, both of us will be able to feel the energy of the angels and our guides of the highest light as we, really move through this process together as souls and individuals here navigating this earthly plane in the higher realms. Lastly, I just call in my higher self again for clear and concise messages during this session. I also want to call in now Zoe's higher self, her guardian angels, and any of her guides of the highest light that desire to give messages today. Please give clear and concise messages to my higher self as we dive deep into this reading, okay? First and foremost, a little message here about being okay with speaking your truth as my throat chakra is beginning to, make some messages and motives to get my attention with the Fool card and the Nine of Pentacles showing up. So the Nine of Pentacles is about being free in who you are and giving no fucks, really, and standing in the garden of the things that you have created. And they're saying, this is the garden that you've created mentally. This doesn't necessarily always have to be, seeing and reaping, tangible physical things. This is wow, look at what I've created in my mind. Look at the peace, look at the clarity, look at the serenity, look at the sanctuary in which my vessel stays in. Look at this. And how can I own it? And they're saying here with the Fool card, it's like you are just a completely different person, and this consciously, this, but you're downplaying all of the shifts and changes that have happened for you specifically. And we're just clearing your energy. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and really allow yourself to just be immersed in the frequency in which you are, what you have become, what have you created, all of it. All of it, Zoe. Remember who you are. Remember what you've done. Remember the passion that ignites you. Remember your higher self. Remember your soul. Remember your spirit of who you are and the direction in which you want to come. Remember the generational curses that you have let go of. Remember how you have allowed yourself to take a step back and be in the flow. And even when things weren't showing up in front of you, you trusted and you surrendered. And even if you fell back into the patterns of fear and trust, you knew that you had your own back. You know that at the end of the day, the divine will meet your every single need, and you will have all of the resources available to you when you need them. And you know that any resources or anything that is not being brought to your attention, not being brought to the forefront of your life, is serving a purpose, is for a certain divine reason. Just basking in this awareness. Allow the release, the emotional release that wants to come up right now. Allow it to be. Allow it to be. I'm just holding space for you at this time in these higher realms and the multi-dimensional states that we are connecting in right now. They're saying we're in the ninth together. Feel the energies of this space. Feel the flow. Feel how easy, with ease and grace, this channeling and this connection is. Connect in with my energy, with the angelic aspects of you, okay? And allow this to really hold you and to cleanse you and to remind you of your truth. Remind you of who you are, of how you keep going. You allow life to pass, but in a way that is observing it. And also, maybe it's not easy to recognize the shifts and change, but you're allowing them. You really are allowing them. We have the dinosaur, and it flew all the way over to my my angel over here, and they're saying that you have been around for a very long time. You are, okay, yes, galactic. Okay, we'll totally own that. You are a galactic being. And also, if you are not already connecting in with the angelic realm, I will ask you very, very gently, and also not gently. Just kidding. Holly's ego is coming through to say, I do this. But your higher self is saying, listen, you do not understand the credibility that you hold within the angelic realm. You do not understand the credibility that you hold in this earthly plane. You have been here so many times, so many fucking times. And they're saying, of course you will be provided for. Of course you will get the things that you need. And also, we will honor the fact that your soul came here for evolution. Of course, we want to give you the things that you want. Of course, we want to assist you in the process of healing and releasing quicker and to see the reality shift and change quicker. Of course we do. And also, we're not in the control of that. Your higher soul consciousness decided to experience the experiences in the way that it experienced, not just by the hour, not just by the day, the month, the year, but by the minute, by the second. It's all been divinely planned and orchestrated, and it cannot be wrong. It can't be wrong. Okay? A lot of these charms fell off the cards, except for on these two cards here. And the ones that are on the side, we have a cat. Okay, so the cat energy is coming through for some reason. So in some way that is something that wants to come through. We have a cross left here on the plate from before. So definitely a strong connection to Christ consciousness. His freedom, fifth dimension. You're living in the 5D, like you really are living in the 5D. They're saying though too, really make sure you're grounding yourself. Okay, we can understand things in the higher realms. Always also have to remember that as we engage in these ideas, as we engage in these practices, also running it through the 3D as well. How do these practices aligned to my three-dimensional being? How does this help my human consciousness? It's amazing to experience and to attach and to have all of these incredible, higher realms, galactic, angelic downloads, these deep understandings of life. And there's a difference between that and then fully embodying it. And embodying it into the human, right? We consciously could say, oh my God, I resonate with that. I understand that. That makes sense. I love this. And also then embodying it in the human. How can Zoe get on board fully with these things? Because when you're in these spaces in your mind of like, I understand this, I know I'm limitless, I know I can have this, I know I can have that. That is your higher self consciousness coming through. That is you. That is your soul essence. But Zoe is human. Holly is human. And those two people, those humans, the ego of us that identifies as Zoe the human, Holly the ego, right? Those parts of us, that part of you has to also be able to embody these things and understand them. It's like you're getting these big downloads from your higher self, but then your human has to like munch on it for a while. Okay, it's like imagine feeding okay, this is such a cool analogy. Okay, your higher self is like, oh my God, get a load of this shit, and shoves, okay, like 5 pieces of steak in your mouth. And then you're like, oh my God, this is delicious. I'm loving this. This is amazing. I'm tasting this. This is incredible. Like, holy shit, I can't believe this. And also, you have to munch on it a little bit. You got to chew on it because it's a lot of steak. And maybe there's a few pieces that are a little chewy, and not in a bad way, but in a way that you have to understand a little bit more, gain a little bit more clarity, grab onto that one piece and really sit with it for a minute and see what are all the bits and pieces to this. And when you do that, when you explore that, that is how evolution happens. There's a difference between sitting with the pieces and actually taking time to chew them, and the other person who gets the download chews on it a couple times and takes a big bite, and then that big lump of food goes down the throat. Yeah, of course, they're still digesting it, but did they really enjoy it? Did they really get it? Did they really, really get it? No. So when you're getting these incredible downloads and like, oh my God, I'm letting this go and I'm this and I'm that, every single time that happens, own that shit and chew on it for as long as you need, for as long as your human ego, Zoe, needs to quite understand it. Because your higher self, that consciousness that's getting this awareness, it's like, oh my God, yeah, duh, of course. How did I not see this before? That version of you is fully aware, right? Like if if you're to pass away, that version of you still exists. But the Zoe, the human, the vessel that you chose this lifetime does not still exist. And so not only is it important to allow her to understand it in a way with grace and compassion. So even when she is saying, this doesn't make sense, or this sucks, I don't like that, this is hard, instead of shoving down her throat and being like, too bad, like you have to do this, or how dare you not get this. We have to look at it in a different perspective. Look at it as how can I help Zoe understand this with so much love and compassion? And then that equates to self-love, that equates to beautiful self-talk, and that's how we embody. Okay, I just looked at the clock at 13:33. 13 is the divine feminine number. 333 is ancestors, ascended masters. Christ consciousness has already come through. wanting to be with you, wanting to work with you, wanting to fully help you digest and regulate this information that's coming in. This time you're at a pivotal discovery mode. Own that shit. Own it. Stop trying to rush the process. I just want to shake you and myself. They're like, bitch, you think that we're not talking to you too? Own the process, okay? And I feel so enlightened. I feel so like the energy they're giving me and pushing towards me is just incredible. It's freeing. It's exciting. It's the Knight of Pentacles. It's holy shit. Look at this. The physical world can look like a trash hole, but if the mind is feeling on fire for life, of course the physical will show that. It has to. It's impossible to stay in a state of disruption in the physical world when our mind is telling us something different, but it takes some time for integration. It takes some time. So enjoy this discovery, because the longer you chew and you understand, the quicker it will come. What happens is you'll get this information and you'll just want to swallow it really quickly and move on to the next. So eager of creating, so eager of getting knowledge, getting insight, getting information. And instead of being eager for that, instead of rushing the process, because that's what an overworked divine masculine does, right? He wants to fix. Okay, I fixed this, now I'm moving on to the next. Especially, if you have placements in your chart that are very much transformative, wanting to rebirth over and over and over, and just hungry for that shift and change. Death, rebirth, death, rebirth. So when the death comes, it's like, okay, I'm jumping into this new version of self. I'm going to quickly eat all the knowledge that I can, and then bam, am I at the next level yet? And they're saying, well, yes, kind of. But when you swallow so quickly, it's hard to fully understand it. So then they have to keep giving you those pieces in hopes that when you get that piece again, you'll chew on it a little bit longer and get a little bit more clarity. But instead, what happens is that piece of steak, it's like eating it really quick and swallowing it really quick. Does that make sense? I'm hoping this makes sense and is coming through in that way. It's allowing yourself to move up the ladder in the direction and the pace that the divine wants you to do. Not the way that your human wants. Your happiness is when you're in the flow. You know you're in the flow when you're feeling happy, when you're feeling ecstatic. And the more that you set your intention every single day to be in that state, every morning waking up, I set the intention source, I set the intention spirit, I set the intention higher self, that every single day of my life, I will be in a constant state of awareness of my present moment, of awareness of my body, awareness of my mind, awareness of what my emotions are doing. I set the intention that I will forever and ever and ever be aware of all aspects of self, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and so that I can not just evolve quickly, but evolve in a way that is so transformational, that I will never have to continue this cycle again. That is the answer for healing. That is the answer of movement forward. That is the answer of growth. That's it. God, this is so good. This is like a message I feel like everyone needs to hear. I might have to I'm gonna talk to you after this about this, because this is something that everyone needs to hear. And if this is not fully digesting, I want you to watch this over and over and over and over. Okay, because this is potent information. This is information that you should listen to every single morning, every single time you're feeling down, every single time you're feeling like you cannot. This is the time to tap into this. The pivotal flow, the pivotal movement in the direction of healing and connection. And as you do this, you enjoy it. That's the beauty of this. You can chomp down on these discovery moments, these downloads. You can really, really, really experience the deliciousness of this steak. It's the best steak ever. And if you don't like steak, or want to stay away from meat, anything that is just so good. It's just, for the clarity to make it understandable. Okay. Here we have the Tree of Life, and the Tree of Life is next to the Magician and in between the Ten of Pentacles with the Magician card. And, this to me feels like there's still an aspect of self that believes that they're in between the gap, that they aren't quite worthy of this, but like, I know I can manifest it one day. It's very much giving the vibes of like, I will be able to eventually, I will eventually be able to reap the rewards that I've been putting so much effort into, but I'll just like be here. But they're like with this seahorse coming out. I don't know if you've ever seen a seahorse give birth, but it's really interesting to watch. But it like they push out like so many little babies. Like they have so many of them. I don't understand it. It's actually incredible. Like very badass. But like this being yours, it's like you have the ability to create whatever it is that you want whenever you want to. Like literally, you have the ability to push out a million ideas, a million things that could bring in abundance, a million different places of love and compassion to so many people and so many things and so many like aspects of self. Like you have this ability to do that. And you know what it's like to tap into this new self, right? Like you know. And also there's still a version of you that thinks that you know, you're in the gap. And with this like crown here on the Six of Pentacles, this tells me that at some level and layer, at least in this cycle of your life, you have mastered what it means to be in flow and surrender. So if you're still trying to fix that or to be different, what you're doing is you're resisting emotions that are coming in. It's not actually that you're resisting the flow or the surrender. Okay. Or I'm sorry, it's not actually that you are not surrendering. It's that you're resisting the feelings that are coming up when you're in the surrender. So you've mastered that. So stop like beating yourself up of like, oh my God, I need to surrender more. Oh my God. Like they're like, no, you've mastered that. What you're feeling is just normal human things. Okay. So stop trying to continue that cycle. It's done. You don't have to keep I'm hearing like regurgitating the same thing. Okay. So that's amazing. That's really great to know you've done a lot of evolution when it comes to that. Okay, this give and flow type of energy. Um, Here though is what they're saying is like you don't believe that you are tapped into the tree of life. You still think that eventually you'll get there. You know it's possible for you. It's not that. Not that you don't consciously know that it's possible, but you think that it's gotta manifest still. But they're saying no, like it's right here, right now. It doesn't have to manifest anything. It's already here. You just have to own it, to be it, to experience it, and know that anytime anything that's not that comes up in your world, it is just a 3D. It's just the experience that you're having. It's not who you are. Okay? Here on the Magician card, we have Saturn. I don't know a lot about astrology, but I do know that Saturn rules like karma and the laws of giving and taking and things like that. And it's like you've been doing so much. I really feel like you're reaping the rewards very soon with what you want. It's things that you desire, this like lollipop type thing. It's showing me and kind of bringing up, first of all, the fact that it's like a spiral. And on the magician, on the top of the magician here, we have the infinity symbol. It's like knowing that you are constantly creating. And I feel like this is going to happen where it's like, oh my God, what? Like very quickly, very exciting energy that's coming through. And it's like you've manifested this, you've created this. And as I'm recording this, we are in retrograde. There are 6 planets in retrograde. Once again, not an astrology person, that does like not my go-to. And also, I do know that Saturn is one of those. So looking into that, seeing how that might be affecting you in some way, um, might be a good course of action. But either way, they're like, you got it all. Like it's literally all happening for you all the time. Okay, it really is happening for you. So trust yourself, trust that, trust it all right, let's see what else wants to come through here. I love the way that they had me do this layout. The Knight of Swords is in reverse. It's like you're really being asked to like figure out what it means to not be constantly doing. Okay, so just know that you're really being called to that at this time. Okay. Ow. Yeah, okay. Right. Is it else that we need to hear today? Yeah, okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. Confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. I love when this happens. I feel so good. Like this energy feels incredible. And I wasn't expecting all of those cards, but okay, what spirit wants? Oh my God, I can't make this shit up. I cannot make this shit up. What spirit wants, spirit gets. Okay, hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I just hit the microphone. I am shook. Okay, also, I realized I just looked over, like, I feel great. My vibe in here, like, it's bright, everything's fine, but I just looked over to the camera and it's not the best, like, lighting, but it's fine. Who cares? All right, let's get into this. Orbs of Light, alchemical mutation, grounding key of light, and family of light. This is, first of all, the fact that we have of light, of light, of light. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You get what I'm putting down here? You are such like you know more than you think. Okay, you know more than you think. Okay. First and foremost, with the orbs of light, I love because the orbs of light, the specific card in this deck, talks about how there are orbs that will bring downloaded information. So when you see an orb that feels like it's of the highest good, right, you can pass it through your crown chakra, okay, and look at it. Like really just kind of look at it and see what it is. So think about that, okay? I want you to imagine right now an orb flying above your head. And when I say imagine, just like see it in your mind. The orb. Oh my God. I am like so shook right now. Okay, let me tell you something really quick. I have my window shut. Like my window is shut. Um, like the blinds are covering it. All I have is a lamp on and candles. That's it. And literally, as soon I don't. Oh my God, I have to look back and see if you can see it in the video. Probably not. But as I said, I want you to imagine the orb going across. I was like pointing like this because there's a mirror right there. I was pointing like this to like myself, like and seeing the orb going into like the top of my above my head. And as I went like this, there was like a flash of light that just like went all the way across, like as if something outside just like. Oh my God, I am like, wow. Okay. Anyways, imagine this orb going into the crown chakra. We don't want to download the information yet. And this goes back to what we were talking about before, okay? The orb in the crown chakra allows that orb to like really open up. And then all of a sudden you're getting all this information. It's like, okay, this is what is filled within this orb. Each orb is held, holds downloaded information. It holds things that you need to know about life, about yourself, okay? And this orb is being asked of you to really look at it before you say yes or no. And so this goes into a couple things. This goes into we are constantly getting information. There are people always throwing different ideas and perspectives at us, right? Like people that we know, people that we listen to, anything that is being said right now, like some of it's new information to you. And so when it comes in, what happens is people will just take it as their truth and then it becomes them. So they grab it, filter it through the crown chakra, and then they immediately just bam, it's my new truth. They just bring it all the way down to the root chakra. They ground it all the way in, right? So it comes in through the crown, and then they're just like bam, okay, yep, that's my truth. And that's how we create these truths. That's how we have all of these messed up truths that we like look at and we're like, I don't actually believe that though, like that's not actually mine. And they're like, yeah, but that's what you took as your own. And this is what happens when we start to listen to friends and family and mentors and everybody else online and YouTube and videos and all podcasts, right? All of these people are just telling us all of this information. And the thing, we just take it all as truth. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, it's my truth now. Like, I believe it. And what they're saying is rather than taking everything that people are saying around you as a legit truth and face value, look at it first. Look at it first and say, does this really resonate with me? Does this make sense to me? Check it out in the crown chakra. Okay, this is where you're being fed the food. You're being fed the food. You're like, do I like this or do I want to spit it out? At that point, you have to make your decision. You have to make your choice. But try it first. Try it on first and see if it makes sense, right? Some stuff you're going to be like, no, definitely not, right? Like if someone was like, oh, it's only cool to wear bright, I don't know, bright yellow shoes. Like you might be like, I'm not really into that. I like to wear other color shoes. So then you're like, no, okay, I don't want it. Like I'm not even going to try it. Right? Someone else though might be like, oh my God, bright color shoes. Yeah, that's my thing. I'm never wearing anything but that. And then bam, they've now created a new belief and now it's who they are. So it's the exact same thing when information is coming in from the divine, coming in from people around you. Look at it and say, does this resonate with me? Does this make sense? When you're watching videos on YouTube, when you're maybe watching readings from people on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever, like look at it first. Tap into your body. What is your body saying? Does it resonate or does it not? Because that is what will tell you on what your actual truth is and what isn't. What resonates with you and what doesn't. And when I say resonates with your highest version of self, because something can resonate to the ego, but resonate to the higher self completely different. And this is why we have to check ourselves. The Spirit's saying, be mindful of who you're listening to and the information that you're taking as your truth. Okay, I know, like, let's say like a parent, they like to give us information and give us, I looked at the clock again, 30:33. They like to give us information and clarity and things like that around certain things in our life, and they mean well. And also, what if it's not actually our truth? It's okay to say, okay, whatever. You don't have to become like confrontational, but it's just like, okay, yeah, if that's how you feel, good. But I am my own self and I think differently. That's okay. And if it's not okay to them, then that's a them problem, right? Like with love, like it's a them problem. Um, and so it's important to run this through your own internal internal like fact checker. This is anything. This is anyone. The people you're learning from. This people you're reading from. Like readings that you get. Anything. Run it through the fact check. Fact. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Fact checker. Fact checker. I don't know why that was so hard. Okay. This alchemical mutation really shifting and changing it into a new version of self. And it's also, remember, it goes back to the human and the higher version of self. Sometimes that higher version has to get this like clarity and information and then comes back into the human and says, okay, this is what I figured out. This is what I found. Right? And then bam, we get the download, we get the aha moment, we get the, oh my gosh, no way, the clarity. Family of light here. This is really, really a message also of just like how like guided and protected you are. It's once again your higher self here. This is, you in meditation and a depiction of your higher self gaining the clarity, gaining the information that you need. And it goes back to even more being very attached to the angelic realm. Okay. The keys of light, this is like you're really, really getting this, you're getting a lot of information. So you just have to choose what it is that you want to do with it. And really anchor that information in and ground it in, allow it to ground in, allow it to really, really create in the thought pattern so that you don't have to continue being fed the same lesson or the same information by different lessons. Because the way that we get enlightenment, the way that we get connections and, different perspectives in life is from lessons. Is from things that look sometimes painful. So when we actually just take a minute to really just sit with it and digest it and taste it and experience it and really, really, really look at all aspects of it rather than trying to hurry up and move on, the parts that we didn't get when we did try to hurry up and move on, we will have to revisit again. And that is why these cycles continue to come back. So just start digesting, even more. And so that way we don't have to keep continuing the same things over and over. I'm going to pull just a couple more cards and to finish off this portion of the reading. Okay. Tenderness, Speak gently to yourself, cherish the child within. And this is just going back to what they were saying before about how the higher self is like giving this information, but making sure that you understand it in a way with grace and love, not like, how dare you not get it yet? You know, I'm gonna slap you. Like, no, it's like I'm giving this information with so much love, right? Here we have achievement, chase your dreams. You may be surprised where they lead you. Okay. So this is also a message of like whatever's been on your mind of things that you may, you know, desire to do, whatever that looks like for you specifically, they're saying like, do it, like, let's do this. Empower, own your power. Every storm brings a fresh new beginning. See, and there we go. That's exactly what they were just saying, is that the information comes in and gets downloaded, and we have to really just sit with it and digest it, and know that even if it feels difficult, there's always something new to come after the difficulty. It's never forever. It's never ever forever. Okay. All right. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.